Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Rocky.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday night to you, wherever you may be. Final game of the 4-game series. It'll be Chad Billingsley, 2-3, against Zach Greinke, who is 5-2. You may remember he was the 2009 Cy Young Award winner in the American League. Big question, can the Brewers sweep a 4-game series here against the Dodgers? They've never accomplished it. Has it ever been done? Yes. Back in 1993, Colorado swept 4 from the Dodgers here, and St. Louis in 2010 swept 4 in Missouri. With that on their minds, we'll get to the ball game and a whole lot more right after this. The new Chipotle Chicken Club Combo for $4.99 plus tax. By Club Serrano. Get in on the action. Go to sanmanuel.com for details. By Time Warner Cable. And by Columbia Pictures movie That's My Boy, starring Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg, in theaters June 15th.
Beautiful day in downtown Los Angeles. The Dodgers are 32-18, 5.5 games up in the National League West. But here's the news of the day, and it is not good. If you were with us last night, you saw Matt Kemp was injured. He said he would probably go on the DL for a while. Well, we now know that while is going to be at least a month. Steve, they have to replace that production. It's our Hyundai key to the game. Where does it come from?
Well, there's no question. You can't really replace a Matt Kemp. Last night we saw this injury. You see him kind of pull up a little bit lame about right there, and then after he crosses the bag, again, kind of reaching for a second gear that wasn't there. And, of course, on the DL, you talked about the 15-day DL the first time. It's probably going to be longer than that. If he goes any longer than that, you're talking about taking it right up to the All-Star break. So this team needs to step it up like they did last time. Look at the numbers they threw up when Matt Kemp was out of the lineup. Now, can you expect them to do that again? Maybe not quite that good, but, hey, you got to hold your own because you have to. Guys like Ethier and Abreu and Gwen and Ellis held their own the first time around. You need Loney and Gordon, guys like that, to step it up this time around.
Ethier, 3 hits last night. He's now hitting .333. We'll see you back here after the final out. Next up, Vin Scully, Dodgers and the Brewers.
Hyundai, the votes are in. The Hyundai Elantra is the 2012 North American Car of the Year. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By CarMax, start the search for your next car at CarMax. Start here. And by Dodge. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium on a lovely evening as the Dodgers and the Brewers conclude a 4-game series, and there's something on the line indeed. The Dodgers have never lost a 4-game series to the Milwaukee Brewers. In fact, the Dodgers have been swept in a 4-game series back in 2010 by the St. Louis Cardinals, and way back in 1993, they were swept a 4-game series here at Dodger Stadium. So a Brewer ball club that arrived here limping. They had 7 men on the DL. They have lost 2 in a row, and they have gotten well in a hurry. Here's a lineup furnished by Ron Renicky. Norachika Aoki is in left field. Nigel Morgan is in center. Corey Hart back in right field after playing first base. Aramis Ramirez will be at third. Taylor Green is at first. Ricky Weeks at second base. Martin Maldonado just called up and having a big series behind the plate. Edwin Masonnet hitting .160 will be the shortstop, and it'll be Zach Greinke on the mound for Milwaukee. For the Dodgers, they counter with Chad Billingsley with a record of 2-3. Billingsley in his career 2-1 against Milwaukee. His last time out, he did not figure in the decision against the Astros. And his first start against the Brewers this year, he went 6 innings in the middle of April, had no decision after allowing only 2 runs in 6 innings. So the game just about ready to get underway with Norichika Aoki, followed by Nyjer Morgan, and then Corey Hart. And Chad Billingsley trying to stop the bleeding here at Dodger Stadium and prevent Milwaukee from doing something they have never done. Aoki hitting .319. He's a problem. He swings a good bat. He's also only 5'9", and he bends at the knees and waist, so the strike zone almost disappears. And the first pitch to him is in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Norichika Aoki, 5'9", 175. Left-hand hitter takes off the plate, and the count 1-1 strike. He was a pitcher throughout junior and high school. Didn't go to the outfield until he went to Waseda University. The 1-1 pitch swung on, hit foul down the left field line out of play, and the count 1-2. It's a gorgeous evening. The temperature at 11 minutes after 7 local time, 70 degrees, not a breeze, just a perfect evening. The mountains outlined against that powder blue sky in center field, and the pitch to Aoki way inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So it is a Southern California sunset as we begin the ball game, and Billingsley turns ready. Chad comes back. A little poke job up along third. On it is Kennedy to throw him out. It was a hesitant half swing and a little ground ball to third, and Kennedy nails him easily. So Aoki goes back to the dugout, 1 away, and the batter now will be Nyjer Morgan. Nyjer Morgan, the center fielder, hitting just .223. Hungry not only for base hits, but for runs batted in. Morgan has been in 44 games and still looking for that first RBI. And he takes low and inside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Nyjer's from San Francisco, grew up in that area. He's the boy who wanted to be a hockey player. He takes the strike, 1-1, as he says in awe. Can you imagine an 8-year-old African-American kid in San Jose who wants to be a professional hockey player? The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed, 1-2. He went to the ballpark after being a puck rushing defenseman in high school, and he went to Candlestick Park, sat 3 rows behind Barry Bonds, and decided to change sports. Right now he swings and doesn't get it and strikes out. So 2 down in the first inning. Strikeout number 1 for Billingsley, and the batter now is Corey Hart. Sitting in the dugout, perhaps getting a well-deserved rest among others. You can see Ryan Braun, the top of his head, visiting with some of the others. Braun, an all-around solid player, is, I believe, the first major leaguer this year to have double figures in home runs and stolen bases. 14 home runs, 10 stolen bases, but it's a night off for Ryan. Meanwhile, at the plate, Corey Hart with a 1-ball, no strike count. Billingsley turns ready, and the 1-0 pitch on the way. Corey takes a strike, and the count 1-1. Hart was having a very dismal series until the 5th inning last night. He was 0 for 10 and then proceeded to come up with 3 hits. The 1-1 pitch on the way, hit late on the ground to Hairston, playing second base, throws him out, and a very easy inning for Chad Billingsley. And at the end of half an inning, the Brewers nothing, and the Dodgers coming up. will be coming up, and we'll take a look at the lineup furnished by Don Mattingly. Ilion Herrera will lead off in center field. A.J. Ellis behind the plate, and Bobby Abreu in left field. Andre Ethier in right. Jerry Hairston at second base. Adam Kennedy at third. Scott Van Slyke takes over at first base. D. Gordon at short, and Chad Billingsley on the mound. On the mound for Milwaukee, quite an interesting pitcher. He was the Cy Young Award winner in 2009. He was with the Kansas City Royals and won 16 while losing 8. For Zach Greinke, ready to work now on Ilion Herrera, and he gets a strike, and the count 0-1. Herrera hitting .292, 4 runs batted in, and is asked to do a big job tonight. He's played a lot of second base, a little third, but he's playing center field. Strike one pitch on the way, a bouncer up the middle, behind second, through into center field, and Herrera opens up the game with a single up the middle. So Ilion Herrera leads off with a base hit. Dodgers are in business, and now you have A.J. Ellis hitting second and Bobby Abreu third. Dodgers trying to snap a 3-game losing streak that has seen the Giants get to within 5.5. The Giants, by the way, are off today. They'll host the Cubs tomorrow night. Paul Maholm and Madison Bumgarner. Meanwhile, you know the noise Carlos Gonzalez is making in Colorado. The pitch to Ellis in for a strike. Cargo, as they called him, homered in each of the last 3 at-bats last night. Don't you know he hit a 3-run home run in the first inning tonight? And, of course, the Dodgers are heading for Colorado. So Gonzalez, 4 home runs and 4 at-bats. Walked the next time up tonight, and the Rockies are breezing 9-1. 0-1 the count. A.J. Ellis. Greinke ready. Right-hander delivers. Check swing. And they look at first. No swing, says Brian Gorman. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So A.J. Ellis hitting .313. He has 5 home runs. 23 runs batted in. Greinke has done very well shutting down base runners. For a right-hand pitcher, they are stealing a success rate of only 52%. Throw over there, and Herrera back on his hands and knees. A couple of things about Greinke. Certainly, he would love to pitch at home. In his career, he has won 50 games and an ERA of 3. On the road, he has lost 47 games and an ERA of 4.5. So the right-hander ready, and his 1-1 pitch coming up. A.J. swings right through it, and the count 1-2. Greinke has done a good job holding runners on. 4 have been caught trying to steal against him. He's been given pretty good run support, almost 7 runs. And what's important, Greinke has led his ball club to 7 victories in his last 7 starts. The Greinke hands at his side, set at the belt. The 1-2 pitch coming up. Right-handed delivers, swung on and missed, and fooled on the pitch. It was kind of a chop down rather than his full swing. Ellis goes down on strike. So 1 out, and the batter will be Bobby Abreu. Abreu, as he checks in, hitting .339. He has 7 runs batted in, 2,400 hits in his wonderful career. Meanwhile, going up against Greinke, and we can look and see just what the Dodgers have done. For instance, we'll take Abreu. He has a home run, and he's hitting .250 in his career against Zach. Right-hander at the belt, looks over his left shoulder, works the hitter down and away, ball 1. So Abreu trying to keep it going with Andre Ethier, the hot man in the lineup, on deck. Herrera opened up with a single. Ellis strikes out. Andre waiting while Abreu tries to extend the inning. Greinke set at the belt. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Abreu takes off the plate, ball 2. We mentioned how Zach Greinke likes to pitch at home. Let's say he loves to pitch at home. Since coming to Milwaukee last year, he has not lost at home. His record in Milwaukee, 14-0. On the road, he's below 500, 7-8. So Zach set, comes right back to Abreu. This time he gets a strike, and it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Though Abreu on a 2-1 count with 1 down, and Herrera the base runner, and you immediately wonder about a possible hit and run play. Herrera, over at first, has not been involved in a stolen base. So let's see. Greinke looks in, getting a sign from Maldonado, looks at Herrera. Elian draws a throw and dives back to the bag. Two balls and 1 strike to count. Zach Greinke, 28 years old. He'll be 29 in October, working on 38-year-old Bobby Abreu. Zach says no, then says yes. And the 2-1 pitch. Herrera poised. There he goes. Abreu fouls it away. So they put the hit and run play on. It kind of figured. Abreu, first of all, a very good contact hitter. He's also only grounded into 1 double play. Mattingly passes whatever the story is to Wallach, who then relays it to Abreu and to Herrera. So 1 out, 2-2 the count to Bobby Abreu. Final game of a 4-game series that gone completely Milwaukee's way. They came in with a 2-game losing streak, and they have won 3 in a row. 2-2 pitch on the way, foul back to the screen. We'll repeat because it's so unusual. Milwaukee has never swept a 4-game series here at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers were swept 2 years ago by the Cardinals in St. Louis. And the Dodgers were swept in a 4-game series here by the Rockies in 1993. A long time ago. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way to Bobby Abreu. Herrera goes. It's low. Dropped by Maldonado. So no play by the catcher, and it'll be a stolen base for Herrera. So Elian Herrera steals his first base on a pitch in the dirt. By the time it landed in the glove, it then hit Maldonado in the chest. Then it landed at his feet, and there was no chance. Maldonado, by the way, they tell us, has a very good throwing arm. So Greinke with a runner at second, 1 out, and a 3-2 count to Bobby Abreu. Right-handed delivers, and it's in there. Strike 3 call. So Abreu is caught looking, and we have 2 strikeouts in the first inning. And now Andre Ethier coming up.
Andre Ethier.
First thing you want to know, how about Ethier going up against Greinke? And we can tell you he is 1 for 5 in the past. Greinke pitched against the Dodgers in Milwaukee, was not involved in the decision. So Andre Ethier hitting .333, 9 home runs, 42 runs batted in, trying to pick up Herrera from second base with 2 out. Last night, Andre went 3 for 4. Greinke ready and delivers, and it's inside, ball 1. You just wonder, will he pitch to Ethier, first base open, and Jerry Hairston on deck? Not to knock Hairston, but there's quite a difference in hitting ability between the two. Ethier has now had 14 multi-hit games this month and has hit safely in 9 of his last 10. The 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on, little pop fly, left side. Masonette makes the catch, and the Dodgers leave Herrera. So at the end of an inning, Zach Greinke walks off, no score. and Zach Greinke. It'll be Ramirez starting off, followed by Green and Weeks. Ramirez with 4 home runs so far this year. A wild swing and a pitch that was way off the plate. Almost like he made up his mind he was going to swing no matter what. Well, with his 4 home runs, he has 319 in his career. He commands great respect. Strike 1 pitch, and Ramirez takes low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. From the Dominican Republic, signed by the Pirates when he was only 16, made it to the big leagues when he was 19. So he indeed a very, very experienced hitter. The 1-1 pitch from Billingsley is high and inside. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. Chad Billingsley trying to recover a victory. Ramirez with a half a dozen hits, batting .240 against Chad. 2-1 pitch on the way, fouled off to the right out of play, and the count 2-2. So Ramirez trying to get something started. Then you have Taylor Green and Ricky Weeks. No score, second inning. We're just starting. Billingsley looks in to get a sign from Ellis, and the 2-2 pitch swung on, ground ball, foul. No play, though Ramirez will come back and try it again. Aramis has started and appeared now in 47 games. Over the last 8, he's perked up. He was signed by Milwaukee as a free agent last December after spending the time with the Cubs. Now the 2-2 pitch is taken low. 2 years with Chicago, in 10 and 11, he had 51 home runs, and the years before that, he just hit a ton at Wrigley. As many as 38 one year, 36 another. But that's Wrigley. And the 3-2 pitch coming up and swung on, ground ball right on the chalk, foul ball again. So Ramirez will have to come back and try it again. Adam Kennedy fielding the ground balls and returning them to the mound. Aramis, 34 come the end of June. He's 6'1", 215-pounder. One of those kids in Santo Domingo where his high school didn't have a team. He had to play the game somewhere. So he had to travel a bit to play their version of Little League. 3-2 pitch on the way, and it's high, ball 4. So Ramirez opens up the second inning with a walk. And the batter now will be Taylor Green.
Coming to the plate, first baseman,
Matt Kemp.
5,
They also
Taylor
serve
Green.
who only stand and wait, even if you must break a bat over your knee in anger. Matt had the MRI today, and the best we can tell you is they're figuring he's going to be out a month, 4 weeks. They're also saying that the pull is not the same spot, re-aggravated. It actually is above the former pull. The first pitch to Green is a little low, ball 1-0. Basically, it will be the same rehab. And for Matt and for the Dodgers and all of his teammates, they will have to exercise a great deal of patience. Though life has thrown Big Matt a big curveball. 1 ball and no strikes. Green, left-hand batter. Taylor hesitates, looks at a strike. So Billingsley moving along nicely. He's made 22 pitches. Working on Green with Ricky Weeks waiting on deck. Billingsley hides the ball, turns, throws to first. Ramirez jumps back on the bag. Ramirez at 34 with all of his years is still 2 for 2 in stolen bases. We'll see, they might have a play on with Green depending on the next pitch. The 1-1 pitch coming up. Green takes a big curveball, low, ball 2. So now you wonder about hit and run. You know, Ron Renicky wasn't shy at all. Last night, among other things, he had a squeeze play with his rookie catcher, Maldonado, and it worked. So we'll see now if he runs Ramirez on a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Taylor Green out of Canada. Left-hand batter, bends at the knees and waist. Ramirez does not go, and the ball is hit down the right field line, right down the line, and foul. So Brian Gorman straddling the foul line to give it the call, and Taylor comes back. Green had a big year hitting home runs, but it was in Nashville. He had 22 last year. He went to Cypress Community College and was drafted 7 years ago by the Brewers. He was the Brewers minor league player of the year last year when he had those big numbers at Nashville. So Taylor back up to the plate. 25 years old. He'll be 26 in November. Runner not going, and Green hits one down the right field line, and that's starting to hook foul and go out of play. There are those who look at Taylor Green at 5'11", 195. Some say might remind you a little bit of a left-hand hitting Ron Cey. Back up and waiting, 2-2 the count. No score, top of the second inning. Ramirez at first base, nobody out. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, that's whacked down the right field line, and fair ball in the corner. It doesn't come back to Ethier, so there'd be runners at second and third with nobody out. Stopping at third, Ramirez on a long double into the corner, hit by Taylor Green. So Billingsley is now in trouble. So was Kershaw last night. So was Eovaldi in the first inning. The Dodgers struggling against the opposition. Second and third, nobody out, and Ricky Weeks coming up. Ricky Weeks, who has been a very good hitter, going back to 2009, he hit 272. In 10, he hit 269. In 11, he hit 269. And this year, hitting just 156. And he takes a high strike, 0-1. That's been his problem, the strikes. He has struck out a breathtaking 64 times already. He had a dismal April where he hit 186, and he's hitting less than that in the month of May. Nobody out. Billingsley's fastball is off the plate, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Ramirez walked. Green doubles into third. Weeks, Maldonado, and Maisonette trying to pick him up. No score, second inning. Billingsley in quest of his third win to balance his books. He's 2-3. 1-1 pitch is on the inside corner. 1-2 the count. Weeks doesn't argue. He just kind of opened his eyes a little wider and looked at the plate umpire, Tony Randazzo. Ricky from Daytona Beach and Altamonte Springs in Florida went to Southern University. All right, Billingsley ready. 1-2 to a kid's been striking out, and the pitch is low, blocked nicely by Ellis, a pitch in the dirt, and the count 2-2. And of course, that reminds you with a runner at third, Billingsley does have 2 wild pitches. No score, second inning. The Brewers are threatening. Billingsley very deliberate as he steps on the rubber. Hides the ball again behind his hip, goes to a stretch. The 2-2 pitch to Ricky Weeks, swung on, a flare into shallow right field. It's going to drop. 1 run will score. That's brought in by Ramirez. Green takes third on a pop fly single to right by Ricky Weeks.
Heading next, catcher number 12.
So he gets the base hit and a run batted in. And the Brewers jump out in front. The batter now will be the rookie Martin Maldonado. And we saw Maldonado squeeze last night. We saw him also get his first major league hit. Then he got his second major league hit. And then last night with the squeeze, he got his first run batted in. So Renicky playing it high, wide, and handsome, and it's paid off with a 3-game winning streak. And Maldonado, big fella, called up. He's from Puerto Rico. Right-hand batter. First and third, nobody out. Billingsley a fake at third and a look at first. Nothing develops. Ricky Weeks over at first will give him something to think about. He's stolen 2 bases without being caught. So Maldonado waiting, hitting .333, and Green down the line from third. 1-0 Brewers. And the pitch of the plate is taken low, ball one, 1-0. We were talking about Greinke holding runners on. Billingsley's also done a good job. The success rate of stealing against Billingsley is only 56%. First and third, nobody out, a run in. Maldonado waiting. And the 1-0 pitch on the way, pulled on the ground by third to short. They're going to get one. The off-balance throw to first, not in time, and the second run scores. Maldonado just able to beat the off-balance throw by Hairston. Jerry had to back off the bag and really throwing on one leg. Good play by Weeks to get in there and break up the possible double play. And just like that, the Brewers lead 2-0. So Jerry bouncing it too late to Van Slyke, and Maldonado with a force play picks up his second major league run batted in. So now one away. Maldonado at first after Weeks has been removed, and here is Edwin Maisonette. Maysonet, and he has a look at a strike. Yes, I agree with you. It sounds like a restaurant. Edwin Maisonette is from Puerto Rico. He was a 19th round pick by the Astros out of Delta State. That's a college in Mississippi. He hits a ground ball off the glove of a diving Kennedy. No play. Into second base goes Maldonado. So Maisonette gets a base hit. He had 3 hits already this year, and of course he had some hits when he played for Houston. So a base hit, that is the third hit plus a walk in the inning. And the Dodgers down 2-0. Zach Greinke is coming up, and Greinke with the bat has one sacrifice. He has 4 hits, including a double. What makes him a pest is the fact that he's had 21 at-bats, and he's only struck out 4 times. Dodgers expect him to sacrifice. We'll see. Here comes the pitch, and he is swinging and fouls it off. Ed Sater, the coach at third, comes out of the box to gesture to Greinke. Didn't have any trouble walking up and swinging at the first pitch. 0-1 the count. He has 2 on. Maldonado at second, Maisonette at first, 1 away. And the strike one pitch on the way. He's swinging. In fact, he takes, and it's out of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Greinke again, a long look at Ed Sater, coaching at third. Now the right-hander back up there. 1-1 the count. A check of the runners. Now he shows bunt. And the pitch, he bunts up along first, foul. And the count 1-2. Greinke, they tell me, is very intelligent. He was an honors student coming out of high school. One reason, I guess, his father was a school teacher and his mom was a school teacher. They're both retired. They say he is a remarkable athlete, playing tennis and golf, and he was playing in the 14-year-old group when he was about 11. He played first base when he was 4 because he was the only player on the team who could catch the ball. The 1-2 pitch is a swing and a miss, and with all of his talent, he strikes out. So Billingsley strikes out the pitcher to pick up his second strikeout, and now the batter is Aoki. First and second, 2 down. Well, I guess Ron Renicky felt that Greinke was a very good hitter, but that certainly looked like a bunt situation. So 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Milwaukee. And here's Aoki, grounded to third in the first inning. He looks at a fastball right down the middle for a strike. 0-1. Aoki, 1 home run, 7 runs batted in, hitting .315. He has Maldonado at second, Maisonette at first, 2 out. The strike one pitch on the way, fastball high and away. Norachik at 5'9", so you look at him and you think, well, I can overpower him. But the word in Japan, he had 200 hits a couple of seasons in a row. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's the 30th pitch of the inning. Ground ball to third. Nice hop to Kennedy. He takes it to the bag for the force, and that's it. So the Brewers get 2, leave 2. And at the end of an inning and a half, Brewers 2, Dodgers nothing. An inning with a clutch base on balls, and before it ended, why the Brewers had 2. They were certainly helped by Taylor Green, who doubled into the right field corner, and then Ricky Weeks had the fly ball single. And the one surprise was the fact that Ron Renicky had Zach Greinke swinging instead of perhaps bunting. So 2-0 Brewers. It'll be Hairston, Kennedy, and Van Slyke in that order. Again, Zach Greinke. Jerry hitting .366 with a home run, 7 runs batted in with the Brewers part of last year. And the right-hand batter takes off the plate, ball 1. Last year when Greinke came to the Brewers, he started his career with Milwaukee going 8-1 and an earned run average of 0.8 in his first 10 starts. The 1-0 pitch, a bullet up the middle for a base hit. So just as Herrera led off the first inning with a single, Hairston now leads off the second inning with a single, and the batter will be Adam Kennedy. So Hairston at first trying to lead the Dodgers back, 2-0 Brewers. Greinke, by the way, is like several pitchers we've seen of late, having a lot of trouble in the first 3 innings. In the first 3 innings, his earned run average is over 5. And the pitch of the plate off speed and away, ball 1, 1-0. Let's get back to Greinke and that 8-1 start with Milwaukee. Since 1920, only 2 other pitchers ever had an ERA under 1 in their first 10 starts. And they're 2 of baseball's most outstanding pitchers, Hall of Famers. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, fouled away. The 2, Hoyt Wilhelm in 1959 and Juan Marichal in 1966. So Zach is in terrific company. When he was getting out of high school with all of his honors, he had signed a letter of intent to go to Clemson. But the Royals signed him to a huge bonus, about $2.5 million. So he opted to go that way. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on, little ground ball to the right side. They'll get a force. The ball is juggled while in the act of throwing, so the out is recorded. So Hairston is erased as Kennedy hits into the force play at second, and we have one away. So Adam is at first as Weeks gets the ball to his shortstop, and then Maisonette trying to turn and throw just dropped it, but the out had already been recorded. Very obvious. The second base umpire Todd Tishner right there to make the call. So now Scott Van Slyke as Hairston takes a seat in the Dodger dugout. The pitch to Van Slyke off the corner, ball one. 1-0. Scotty, one of Don's pocket full of miracles when he hit that big home run. Hitting 136, that one home run that was so dynamic to beat the Cards. The 1-0 pitch on the way is lined foul outside of first and down the line. So 1 ball and 1 strike is Scott Van Slyke. And of course that home run was made even sweeter by the fact that his dad was here taking in the action. So Van Slyke hit that on the 20th of May, and now he has a chance to play tonight. Greinke set at the belt, comes to the plate, fastball slapped into right field for a base hit. Down to second goes Kennedy. So par for the course. Greinke is struggling in the first couple of innings.
Number 9, D. Gordon.
And D. Gordon will be coming up with 2 on and 1 out. D. Gordon last night struck out twice, single to left, and scored a run and walked. Over a week now, hitting .357, overall batting average .222. Gordon waiting. Greinke delivers, and the first pitch fouled away. The outfield, Aoki very shallow in left. Nigel Morgan over a little bit towards left center, so a huge gap from straightaway center to right center, and Hart straightaway in right. 0-1 to count to Gordon. 2-0 Milwaukee. Dodgers have 2 on with 1 out. Greinke set, ready, deals, and gets a strike. And they count 0-2. Greinke, they say, well, to give you a story, he used to play ping pong with a friend, and he lost every time, and it just killed him. So what did he do? He replayed all the individual points. His head working like a TiVo, dissected his opponent's game. There's a ground foul outside of first down the line. After he did that, he pounded his opponent the next 5 games they played. So he is a deep thinker, and he would be the first to tell you that some of his deep thinking has hurt him. He's actually fought depression. He's seek professional help. He has taken antidepressant medicine. Very interesting young man. Strike 2 pitch on the way is taken on a check swing. No swing, says Al Porter, and the count 1-2. They once had a home run derby, a high school tournament, and before Greinke had used all of his ites, he had clinched the competition, and he decided to bat left-handed for no good reason, just to show off, and he hit a home run. Then he put the bat down and walked off the field. 1-2 pitch fouled away off to the left out of play. But he is the first to say it has not been that easy for him. Very impatient. He's a starting pitcher, from what we understand, who hates to wait 5 days. It's too much time. He was in the Futures game 2003. That was the year he was the Royals minor league pitcher. Pitch is swung on and missed. A bounce throw to short. The tag is late. First base was occupied, so Gordon strikes out. Tough play down there, but it shows you the thinking of Maldonado. Strike 3 at the plate, and he's going right after Kennedy, but his bounce throw was late. So Gordon strikes out. That would be the 3rd strikeout for Zach Greinke. 2 out here in the second inning. 2-0 in favor of the Brewers. Nice effort by Masonette. And now here's Chad Billingsley hitting a half a buck. Chad, right-hand batter. Greinke ready, and the fastball low and away. Ball one. 1-0 the count. Billingsley with the bat is 1 for 18, and he has struck out 10 of the 18 at bats. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Milwaukee in the second inning. The 1-0 pitch, Chad hits it foul off first upstairs. 1-1. Dodgers will leave town after the game and head for Colorado and begin a long and somewhat arduous road trip. 3 in Colorado, 4 in Philadelphia, and 3 in Seattle before coming home to play the Angels and the White Sox. The Angels series starts June 11th. Billingsley swings, hits one up the middle, and it's going to go into center field. Here comes Kennedy, and he will score, and the Dodgers get on the board 2-1 on a base hit by Billingsley. What a surprise, and a run batted in. Well, it just follows that note we had about Greinke with an ERA over 5 in the first 3 innings. Ball just got under Greinke's glove and just by the glove of a diving Ricky Weeks. So the Dodgers come up with 3 hits in the second inning. Billingsley with a surprising base hit and a run batted in. And now you have the top of the order, and that would be Elian Herrera. Herrera singled a sounder in the first inning, stole second. Switch hitter batting left-handed. Brewers 2, Dodgers 1, bottom of the second. Greinke's first pitch, off-speed breaking ball, and it drops in nicely for a strike. 0-1. Herrera, a rare player, multi-talented, can play almost anywhere on the field, maybe not catch and pitch. Strike one pitch is taken a little low. 1-1 the count. So Chad Billingsley with a base hit up the middle against Greinke to drive in a run. Brewer lead 2-1. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Greinke delivers, and that's a fastball off the plate at 90. And a 2-1 count to Elian Herrera. When you're facing Greinke, you're going to get a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer. He also has a change, slider, spike curve, and a cut fastball. So he's got a full hand out there. 2-1 to Herrera. The 2-1 pitch fouled away back into the screen. 2-2. So in the inning, Hairston singled, Kennedy forced him, Van Slyke singled to right, Gordon struck out, and then Billingsley comes up with an RBI, which turns out to be the 19th run batted in Chad's career, brought in by Adam Kennedy. So the deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, second inning. 2-1 Milwaukee, and the pitch is low. Ball 3. The Greinke laboring here, facing his 6th batter. And what helps the Dodgers a little bit, the tying run, Van Slyke, will be in motion as A.J. Ellis waits on deck. So Van Slyke at second, Billingsley at first, 2 out, and a 3-2 count. Greinke staring off into space, then looks in to get a sign. Runners ready, runners go, and the pitch is low. Ball 4. So Greinke's already allowed 1 run, 4 hits, and a walk. He has struck out 3. And A.J. Ellis, who struck out in the first inning, is coming up. So Zach waiting, A.J. hitting .311 with the bases loaded, 2 out. Dodgers trail 2-1. Greinke delivers, and it's off the plate. Ball 1. Ellis, of course, has a reputation of having a good eye in the strike zone. He has Van Slyke at third, Billingsley at second, Herrera at first. and 2 down. 1 ball and no strikes. Swung on, ground foul outside of third, down the line. 1-1 to count. For Greinke, he has only prior to tonight his ratio 15 walks and 62 strikeouts, better than 4-1. And he has 3 strikeouts and 1 walk so far now. 1-1. Lazak in little trouble. Ellis waiting, and the 1-1 pitch on the way is fouled off. 1-2. When Ellis struck out, that was in the first inning, he did not have his usual good swing. He was bothered by that pitch. That one just now was a little late swing. The 1-2 to count. Ellis trying to pick up on Greinke with the bases loaded and 2 out. 2-1 Brewers, second inning. The 1-2 pitch on the way, swung on, popped in the air, foul. Coming back is Maldonado, but no play. That's well back into the crowd. So in the inning, Hairston single, Kennedy forced him, Van Slyke single, Gordon struck out, Billingsley singled home Kennedy. Herrera walks, so the bases loaded, and AJ up there, 1-2 the count. So Adam Kennedy talking to his manager as Ellis waits. 1-2 pitch coming up. Greinke delivers fastball on the corner. Strike 3 called. AJ knew it and walked away. 4 strikeouts for Greinke. Gets away cheaply enough, surrendering 1, and the Brewers lead 2-1.
Forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Brewers lead the Dodgers 2-1. Rather expensive second inning for each pitcher, and Greinke's leaving the bench because Chad Billingsley made 30 pitches in the second inning, only to have Greinke come back and make 28. So we go to the third, 2-1 Milwaukee. It'll be Nigel Morgan, Corey Hart, and then Aramis Ramirez. For Morgan, without an RBI, it becomes a little historic. He takes a pitch off the plate, ball 1. Morgan with 135 plate appearances, and you can add another tonight. 136 plate appearances without an RBI. That's the most in Major League history to start a season. But he bangs one into right field for a base hit, leading off matters here in the third. So Morgan with a base hit, and now Corey Hart coming up.
Right fielder, number 1, Corey Hart.
So Morgan at first, and Corey Hart at 6'6" brings in that big strike zone. Also brings up a big swing. He has 10 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Does strike out a lot, 57 times. And a throw to first, they keep an eye on Morgan. Nyjer Morgan has stolen 5 out of 7. Third inning, 2-1 Milwaukee. Trying to do the unheard of for Milwaukee to sweep a 4-game series at Dodger Stadium. We'll repeat, it's only happened twice. The Cardinals won 4 straight in a series back in 2010. That was in Missouri. And the Colorado Rockies in 1993 swept a 4-game series here at Dodger Stadium. Hard waiting, Billingsley ready. The pitch to Corey hit late and foul off to the right, and the count 0-1. So we look at Billingsley going up against Hart. Hart, grounding out in the first inning, is 0 for 13 in his career against Billingsley. Morgan at first, held on by Van Slyke, draws the throw, scampers back. Morgan last year stole 13. So they know he can run. Brewers got 2 in the top of the second. Dodgers came back with 1. It was Billingsley to get a base hit to drive in the run. Morgan, studying Billingsley, has a fairly good lead. 0-1. Billingsley from his stretch. Another look over at Morgan. Now to the plate, and it's swung on late again and fouled away. So Corey Hart was late on 2 fastballs, and I mean very late. Maybe, as the players say, waiting on a breaking ball. But those 2 fastballs were just about by him. You talk about hitting the ball out of the catcher's mitt. 0-2 to Corey Hart. Billingsley hands it aside, looks in to get a sign. Now the strike 2 pitch is taken very high, ball 1. All fastballs to Hart. Of course, you're a pitcher and you see him late on the first 2 fastballs. You start figuring, I can throw the ball by him. And of course, that's just when he hits his home run. 1-2 to Corey Hart. Morgan, both hands on his knees, takes his lead. He goes, and the pitch swung on late and missed. The throw down, however, is late, with the second baseman Hairston actually handling the throw on the shortstop side of the bag.
Third baseman, number 16.
So Morgan will steal, and the throw on the other side, so there was no chance to make the tag, unless, of course, Morgan overslid, but he made sure that he was anchored. But Hairston, in a sense, trying to push that left leg off. But Hart does what you would expect. After watching him swing on those fastballs, really was no surprise to see him strike out. So 1 away, and here is Ramirez. Billingsley set and deals, and the fastball a high strike, and the count 0-1. For Billingsley, he now has 3 strikeouts. He's given up 2 runs, 4 hits, walked a batter, and it cost him a run. So Ramirez now trying to pick up Morgan, and the strike 1 pitch on the way, swung on and fouled back. That was 95. So it's obvious Billingsley is throwing very hard. Chad's pitch count is up to 50. 8 pitches in the inning, which is not bad at all. Ramirez hitting only .239. 4 home runs, 28 runs batted in, so he is far off his normal pace. No balls, 2 strikes. Billingsley ready. Fastball, foul back. That fastball at 93, so without a doubt that's been the money pitch for him. 0-2. Had a difficult second inning when he gave up a walk, a double, and 2 singles. Now he has a runner at second with 1 out. 0-2 to Ramirez, trying to pick up Morgan. a pickoff, but no throw. There was no one to cover. Just enough to make Morgan dive back to the bag. Niger taking a pretty good lead. Left side of the infield deep enough, and Hairston can't really hold him on at second base. 0-2 to Ramirez. Billingsley delivers, breaking ball whacked into left field, deep and gone. So after all those fastballs, it might have been a slider, and Ramirez hits it in the pavilion, and just like that, the Brewers lead 4-1 on a no-ball, two-strike count. Obviously trying to throw a breaking ball anywhere but where he got it. That's the 5th home run of the year for Ramirez, and for Billingsley, that would be the 7th home run he has allowed. And Ramirez got all of it. It looked like a breaking ball dipped at the knees, and he hit it out. It was up, and it just started to go down, and Ramirez all over it. So a 2-run home run, and the Brewers now leading 4-1. Ramirez grinning with 5 home runs in his year. The pitch now to Green, a strike. That would be 320 home runs in his career. So he's accustomed to touching them all. Imagine averaging 28 over the last 11 years. The pitch now to Taylor Green is in for a strike. So Billingsley is burned early. 4-1 Brewers. The next pitch is fouled off Green's foot. No play. 1-2 the count. So Aramis Ramirez, who had all those big years and really caught up in the home runs with the Cubs. As many as 38, 36. Now the next pitch, a high fastball swung on and missed. So Green strikes out. That would be 4 strikeouts for Chad. And the batter would be Ricky Weeks. That fastball has been very effective, but I really think on that 0-2 pitch to Ramirez, it was probably a slider at the knees, and Ramirez just hit it out. Ricky Weeks singled in the 2nd inning. That's not news, but he got an RBI on a 2-2 pitch. And with 2 strikes on him, he has not been much of a hitter, and an off-speed pitch behind him to the backstop. Ball 1. It was a change. It wasn't a pitch that would intimidate a hitter. It just obviously got away. The reason we bring it up, Weeks getting a base hit with 2 strikes. With the count 2 strikes on him, he's been hitting 111, and a 2-2 count, he's hitting 078. And the next pitch almost hits him, and again off speed. Not a fastball, not a breaking ball, but a couple of changes, and a 2-ball, no strike count to Ricky Weeks. Hit 25 times 2 years ago. The 2-0 pitch is taken for a strike. Of course, that's been part of Milwaukee's story this year. They feel downright abused, I'm sure. The Brewers have been hit 31 times, and Renick's pitchers have only hit the opposition 11. Weeks pulls one foul, and the count 2-2. That's been the dreaded count for Ricky Weeks. Corey Hart, who knows about pitches up and in. Corey's been hit 3 times, but their pitchers have been very good. Ryan Braun has been hit 5 times and was hit once in this series. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Weeks takes high, ball 3. 3-2 to Ricky. Single to right, little fly ball single, and the catcher Maldonado on deck. 4-1 Brewers. Billingsley ready. Chad turns. 3-2 fastball, and that's pop foul behind the plate, off to the right. No play for Ellis. A big play in the grandstand, and a 3-2 count. So Ellis will pick up the helmet and go back to work. 3-2. Ricky Weeks. He has stolen as many as 19. Stole only 9 last year. And here's the 3-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, foul ball up along third. Remember how we keep track of swings and misses where the pitcher is overwhelming hitters, or the other way we keep starting to keep track. They're fouling off. They're not swinging and missing. Well, we'll just keep track of Billingsley. 3-2 the count to Ricky Weeks. Chad ready, and here he comes. Fastball got him swinging 94 miles an hour. So there's no doubt about it. He strikes out the side with a fastball, but I'm pretty sure it was anything but a fastball hit by Ramirez, and it's 4-1 Brewers. He hits the 2-run home run. So the Brewers now lead 4-1. Bottom of the third. It'll be Bobby Abreu, Andre Ethier, and then Jerry Hairston. Abreu struck out in the first inning against Zach Greinke. Right-hander trying to win his sixth. Bobby waiting and looks at the first pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Abreu batting .333, 7 runs batted in. Watching Bobby hit, he hits where pitched. If you pitch him on the outside part of the plate, he goes to left field. Strike one pitch, he shows bunt and takes outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. I've not seen Bobby get very many pitches in where he can turn on the ball and pull it, but he can still do it. 1-1 the count. Greinke rocks, ready, right-hander deals off speed, and he missed outside, ball 2. When Greinke signed his bonus for about $2.5 million, they asked him about spending the money. He had a great line. He said, "My goal is to be the cheapest millionaire in history." Abreu late hits a ground ball wide of third. On it there, making the play easily is Ramirez, and we have 1 away.
Dodgers right fielder number 16.
In the third inning, top of the third, Billingsley made 22 pitches to make 64 in the game. And we were talking about swings and misses and foul balls. So far, there have been 6 swings and misses by Milwaukee, 16 foul balls. So they've made Chad work extra hard. 64 pitches in the first 3. So here's Andre Ethier, who popped up in the first inning. The shortstop, Maisonette, making the catch. Andre hitting .332. So without Kemp, Andre Ethier did exceptionally well. In fact, for the last 3 weeks, hitting .418. Now without Kemp for maybe at least a month. Andre looks at the first pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1. Ethier followed by Jerry Hairston. Over that stretch of 14 without Kemp, Andre hit .353, 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Strike one pitch, off speed and away, and he was way out in front of it. 0-2, and it was out of the strike zone. We mentioned earlier that Greinke, very interesting, although he did have issues, depression, he had to see a sports psychologist. Here's the strike 2 pitch. Ethier swings, misses. The tag by Maldonado was missed, so the out recorded at first. 2 down. Of course, you realize it was a very wise man who many years ago said the game is played between the ears.
Jerry Hairston Jr.
And really, it is such a tough life. Oh, yeah, sure, they get paid a lot of money. I don't mean that. But it is a tough life to survive the mental ups and downs, the pressure. If I don't succeed, will I have a job? Will they send me down? Will I be traded? Do I have the wife and kids to have to do this while I do that? It's tough. Well, here's Jerry Hairston, singled in the second inning. Jerry hitting .375 and holds up on a pitch just inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Third inning, 2 out, 4-1 Brewers. Greinke ready, and his 1-0 pitch, fastball swung on and missed, a nice easy 94. You marvel, we mentioned what a great athlete he was and still is. When he was an 8-year-old tennis player, you know what his record was? 50-0. 50-0. And he finally got beat. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hairston pulls it, a hopper by Ramirez and down the line. Jerry on his way for 2. Ball is picked up by Aoki, and Hairston watches and stands at second base. But Greinke gives up a 2-out double. Hairston is 2 for 2. And the batter will be Adam Kennedy. Ball was just ripped by Ramirez and all the way down the line. For Jerry Hairston, the former Brewer, trying to wear up his old team. Hairston 5 doubles and a triple and 1 home run. Trying to pick him up is Kennedy, who hit into a force play in the second inning. Now the first pitch is a ground ball to Weeks, and that will be that. Didn't waste any time. First pitch out, so no runs. A wasted double by Hairston, and at the end of 3, Brewers 4, Dodgers 1. They're even in walks and strikeouts. However, 4-1 in favor of the Brewers, and for Billingsley, 10 extra pitches than Zanke in the first 3 innings. So Zach Greinke down in the dugout. Billingsley on the mound. 4th inning, 4-1 Brewers. And a first pitch strike to Maldonado. Martin Maldonado hit into the force play in the 2nd inning. Maldonado replacing Jonathan LaCroix and George Cotaras as well. Foul ball. Cotaras had muscle spasms in his left leg, so they played him out of desperation the first game. They've rested him since, and they called Maldonado up, and he's had a fine couple of games. Jonathan LaCroix, what a heartbreak. What a frustrated young man he must be. LaCroix hitting .345, 5 home runs, 30 RBIs, and he can't play. And why? Because he was reaching under a bed for a sock. A suitcase fell off the bed, landed, and broke his right hand. A boxer's break, they say, the 5th metacarpal. So LaCroix is out, a freak accident. 1-2. 2-2. No swing. Ryan Gorman, chip off the old block. His dad umpired for so many years in the big leagues. 2-2 to Martin Maldonado. Brewers began the nights in 4th place, 6 games back of Cincinnati. 2-2. Fastball at 95. Dodgers begin the night in 1st place, 5.5 in front of the Giants, who are idle. So if the Dodgers lose, the lead is cut to 5. And remember, they're pushing out for a tough road trip. Colorado, Philadelphia, and Seattle, and then to come home and play 2 very hot clubs, the Angels and the White Sox. That's going to go to right. Ethier is there. 1 away. Say, be sure to spend Father's Day with your dad at Dodger Stadium Sunday, June 17th. Dodgers and White Sox at 1:10. Fans with the first 20,000 ballot tickets will receive a sports bag, and after the game, dads and their families invited onto the field to play catch. All compliments of United Airlines. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Here's Maisonette, fooled on an off-speed breaking ball in the dirt. 0-1 to Edwin. Singled off Kennedy's glove in the 2nd inning. Oh, 0-1. One ball and 1 strike. For Billingsley, he's now made 72 pitches. When Edwin Maisonette was called up by the Astros, he showed he's very intelligent as he hits a change, a 2-hopper down to shortstop, 2 down. What Maisonette did, he joined the Astros, and the first guy he sought out was Mark Loretta. And Loretta, a highly intelligent player, a good man for a rookie to talk to. And of course, Mark spent some time here as well. Last we heard, Mark Loretta was working in San Diego for the Padres, I believe. 2 down, and here is Zach Greinke. Takes a strike. We were telling you a little while ago, when he was 8, he was 50-0 playing tennis, and he lost the only tournament match after that 50-0 record. And he said, I lost on purpose. He said, I had problems. I get real nervous before the games. And the last time I got so nervous, he said to his dad, I can't play anymore. So he didn't want to play anymore. And he purposely lost. Ball 2, 2-1. Then it was 2006, when he realized he had some problems marked by tension. He got help, and hopefully everything is going well for him now. 2-1 to Zach Greinke. Good hitter. And hits a high fly ball down the right field line. Ethier crossing the line, leans in, and can't get it. 2-2. In looking at some of the notes we have on Greinke, he has always been a pretty good hitter, even though it had to be a secret he was playing in the American League. But so remember, in what looked like a bunt situation, they had him swing away in the second inning, and he struck out. And again, so a good hitter maybe, but this is the big league. Down go the Brewers, and at the end of 3.5, 4-1 Milwaukee. Visit AT&T.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by Mercury Insurance. Buy a policy and get a free Dodger jersey from your local agent. Bottom of the fourth inning. The Brewers leading the Dodgers 4-1. The Brewers trying to do something they have never done, and rare indeed. Sweep a 4-game series from the Dodgers and do it here at Dodger Stadium. Well, so far, Ramirez has scored twice, hit a 2-run home run against Billingsley, who knocked in the only Dodger run. So here we go in the fourth. Van Slyke, then Gordon, and then Billingsley. First pitch strike to Scott, who singled to right field in the second inning. Time. Van Slyke with a home run, 6 runs batted in, and playing first base. Little low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers experimenting, I guess the that's word, with the lineup, especially with the number 2 hitter, the 1-1 pitch in there, 1 and 2. When you look at the last few lineups, Herrera hit second, DeJesus hit second, Loney hit second, A.J. Ellis hit second. So for Mattingly trying to find the proper combination ever since the Dodgers lost Mark Ellis. And he was a wonderful number 2 hitter. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Van Slyke. Fastball away at 93. Waiting on deck, Dee Gordon. Fastball pulled to third. Ramirez on it. Now, two things you have to remember. We mentioned earlier that Greinke always has troubles in the first 3 innings. In fact, we even gave you the earned run average. In his first 3 innings, his earned run average is well over 5. But from the 4th inning on, hold on, his earned run average from the 4th inning on is 2. A big difference. So if that holds up, the Dodgers are really in trouble. He labored in the first 3, and here's Gordon. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. 0-1. Ground ball. Ricky Weeks is there. 2 out. And the batter will be Chad Billingsley. Zach Greinke, among other things, and believe me, you could really spend the evening talking about him. He married a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Billingsley takes off the plate. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Fastball in there. That was 95. Four to 1 in favor of the Brewers in the 4th inning. Off the plate. 2-1. Fastball again. 2-2. That was the 2-seamer. That's the sinker. Billingsley batting 105. 2 out, 4th inning, 4-1 Brewers. And a broken bat flare down the line, foul. So Billingsley will need a new bat. Two and two. One piece went out towards short. Wallach now giving that to the broken bat boy. We have specialists. Two and two. Greinke came in 5-2. Breaking ball dribbled. That's going to be a lot of trouble. And Billingsley has his second hit. Problem with Billingsley getting a 2-out single. He's already made 78 pitches, and now he's going to be on the base pad. No chance to get him. So Chad 2 for 2, held on by Taylor Green. And here is Herrera. Single to center and walk. Stole a base. Four runs, 5 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 0-1. I guess like so many young pitchers, but certainly in his case, when Zach was pitching in the minor leagues, there were many times when he wanted to quit. The good thing he didn't. Baseball would have lost a wonderful young pitcher. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Greinke might have had a few thoughts about quitting. He was in the minor leagues for 2 years. How about Herrera? He was in the minor leagues 10 years, and he said he never had a thought of quitting. 1 and 2. So it takes all kinds of people. 4-1 in favor of Milwaukee. 2 out. Billingsley at first. Taylor Green is off the bag. I think he's trying to get Greinke's attention. He's about 3 feet off, playing in towards the mound. One and two to Herrera. Now back. So Greinke has now made 72 pitches. Billingsley made 78. So that's 150 pitches we've seen so far. And we're in the 4th inning. 4-1 Milwaukee. Right at the knuckles. 2-2 the count. Fly ball to left field. Aoki is there, and that'll be that. No runs, swift single for Billingsley, and at the end of 4, it's 4-1 Milwaukee. They'll always be remembered.
Leading off the 5th inning for the Brewers, left fielder number 7.
What a great history. What marvelous athletes wearing the Dodger name across their chests, playing with so much verve and vigor. Great years. Meanwhile, in the 5th inning, verve and vigor is the dancing team coming out of Milwaukee. The Brewers 4 runs, 5 hits. Dodgers 1 run, 6 hits. Billingsley knocked in the only Dodger run, so that tells you things are tough right now. Aoki, Morgan, and Hart coming up in the 5th inning. Aoki has grounded out, hit into a force play, 0 for 2. Strike, high strike. And popped up around the plate. AJ getting under it and away.
Center fielder number 2.
So we have one away, and Niger Morgan coming up. We're in the 5th. Brewers got 2 in the 2nd inning. Dodgers came back with 1. And then Ramirez hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd, and that made it 4-1. Morgan 1 for 2, single, stole second, and was aboard when Ramirez hit the home run. Ground foul. You know, we were talking earlier about the fact Morgan has set a little known record so many at-bats at the start of the year without an RBI. Do you remember Enzo Hernandez, the little infielder with San Diego? He had 549 at-bats one year and knocked in 12. That's the least ever for a player in a season with at least 500 at-bats. Enzo Hernandez, 1971. Don't think he was any bigger than Aoki. Might have even been a little smaller than that. 3-1 to Morgan. Fouled away. Yeah, and thinking about Aoki being on the small side at 5'9", did you see any of the Astro games here with Jose Altuve, who's around 5'6", 5'5"? 3-2. Just blew that by him at 94. Well, Morgan strikes out a second time, 1 for 3, and Billingsley now has struck out 7. All right, time to get you thinking. John Axford, you know, the big, tall drink of water, long hair, mustache. He set a Brewers record with 46 saves last year. Which 3 Dodgers have had 40 or more saves in a season? And an off-speed pitch hits Corey Hart. So the only, and you can't call him intimidating, that was a definite change. It just slipped. So if you're going to take one for the club, best you take one coming at 75. So with 2 out, a hit batter, and here comes Ramirez. He walked, and then came the 3rd inning. He got a little slider, and he hit it in the pavilion, and that gave the Brewers their 4-1 lead. Ramirez with a walk, hitting .243. A shot up the middle for a base hit. Hart will go to second and hold. So with 2 outs, Milwaukee has something going. And the batter will be Taylor Green.
Taylor Green.
Taylor Green doubled and struck out. If you remember earlier, we were talking about Ramirez and the home run, and we were saying he got 3 good fastballs. 1 was called, 2 he fouled off. And I was saying it looked like a breaking ball, maybe a slider that he hit for the home run. Major League Baseball says he hit a cutter. So a sharp jump, not quite as much as a slider, but it was doing something when it came up. So here's Green, 1 for 2. Ball 1. Taylor hitting .238, 4 runs batted in, no home run. Little foul, 1 ball and 1 strike to Taylor. From Canada, he was the Brewers minor league player of the year last year. He was rated as the 8th best prospect in the Milwaukee organization at spring training this year. 1-1. Ball 2. Green's been playing professionally since 2006. Had his biggest year in Nashville last year. Two and 2. For Milwaukee, they've won 11 games at home. They've lost 11 games on the road. They're 10-11 against the West, and they're 10-11 in the Central. 2 and 2. And remember, they have 7 men on the disabled list. 3 and 2. So that means Hart will be going from second. Ramirez will be going from first. and Ricky Weeks on deck. Billingsley throwing hard. He has 7 strikeouts. Runners go. Foul back. Gadd making a lot of pitches now. He's up to 94, and we're only in the 5th inning. Remember last night, Clayton Kershaw made 117, and he lasted 2 outs in the 6th. Runners ready to go. Three and 2. And ball 4 to load him up. So he hit Hart with that off-speed pitch, gave up the single to Ramirez, and now the walk to Green. So with his 7 strikeouts,
Ricky Weeks.
he has walked 2 and hit a batter. Ricky Weeks, little fly ball single to right and struck out. Ricky hitting 160. And he has struck out 65 times. Against Billingsley, he came in 5 for 12 and a strike. So 5 for 12 to update it. He's 6 for 14 against Billingsley. And you have Corey Hart at third, Aramis Ramirez at second, Taylor Green at first, and Ricky Weeks without a grand slam at the plate. 0-2. Ricky has to be desperate to make contact. With all of his struggles, he has 5 home runs. 0-2. And pop foul, out of play. Chris Capuano will open up in Colorado Friday night. Outman will go up against Chris, who has had a marvelous start for the Dodgers. He is 7-1. All right, 0-2 the count to Ricky Weeks. Check just inside, ball 1. Oh, here's Billingsley now, 1 pitch for 100. One ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded, 2 out, 4-1 Brewers. And lifted to shallow right. A trio of Dodgers. It will be Hairston. So Weeks pops it up. The Brewers lead 3, and at the end of 4.5 innings, it's 4-1 Milwaukee. Bottom of the 5th inning. A.J. Ellis, Bobby Abreu, and Andre Ethier in that order. For Chad Billingsley, 22 pitches to get him to exactly 100. Ellis has struck out twice. Haven't seen A.J. really have his typical swing against Greinke, and he takes a strike. 0-1. Check swing, that's going to cost him. So each at bat, it looks like A.J. inherits a no ball 2-strike count. For Greinke, his strikeout to walk ratio better than 4-1. 0-2. Greinke has struck out 5. Billingsley has struck out 7. Now back, still 0-2. One and two, showing him a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Just off the plate. Boy, that didn't miss by much. 2-2. Waiting on deck, Bobby Abreu. Fastball and a hopper through into center field. So it took him a while, but finally A.J. got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball into center, leading things off. Remember the trivia question now. We just talked about John Axford with 46 saves last year. Which 3 Dodgers have had 40 or more saves in a season? Well, of course, Eric Gagne. Then you remember big Todd Worrell and Jeff Shaw, who came over to the Dodgers in a deal that sent Paul Konerko to Cincinnati and eventually to Chicago. And Paul will be here during the next homestand on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of June. A strike to Abreu. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Bobby hitting .328 as a Dodger. Down and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. We mentioned earlier that Greinke graduated with honors. Quite a student of the game, and he keeps a book on the hitters. He studies them even when he's not charting them the day before a start, and he charts all of his own pitches. He watches batting practice, etc. 1-2. That's one thing that's changed. If you look in the Dodger dugout, you're not going to see anybody charting the pitches. Used to be the Kershaws, the Lillys, the Capuanos. They would chart. The Evaldis. Especially, you can understand, well, Capuano's not going to chart because he's pitching against Colorado. 1-2. And ground ball to short. The quick feed for 1, and it'll be turned for 2. So Bobby Abreu crowns into the double play. It's only the second double play he's hit into this year. But for the Dodgers, they have to be fed up. They hit into 4 double plays last night.
Andre Ethier.
Here's Ethier with the bases empty. Dodgers will go to Colorado, and they'll see a very hot Carlos Gonzalez, but they will not see Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki has a groin pull, and they had to put him on the DL. So Capuano will have enough to handle with Carlos Gonzalez, but not Tulo. Foul ball. 0-2 to Andre. Ethier popped up, struck out 0 for 2. Talking about the Rockies, they pounded the Astros 11-5. And remember, Cargo hit 3 home runs last night and then hit a big home run his first at bat tonight. So he hit 4 home runs in 4 consecutive at bats. The 5th appearance, he walked. 1-2. Greinke with 5 strikeouts. He has walked 1. And he's coming up to his 90th pitch. Zach 6'2", a trim 190. Fastball got him at the knees. So down goes Ethier and the Dodgers at the end of 5, 4-1 Brewers. I almost fell out of the booth. I'll tell you why. Don Drysdale was working on the string of scoreless innings. The Dodgers were leading the Giants 3-0 in the 9th inning, and the bases were loaded with nobody out, and Giant catcher Dick Dietz came up and was hit by a pitch. And I thought, there goes the string. Only the plate umpire, Harry Wendell, said no. He made no effort to get out of the way of the pitch. That's strike 1. Well, Dietz popped up. Ty Kleins hit into a force play at the plate, and Jack Hyatt fouled out. Drysdale went on to set the record. Phew. Let's go back to this one. Ellis can't make the play. 0-1 the count to Martin Maldonado. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Zach Greinke has struck out 6. Chad Billingsley has struck out 7. Greinke has made 90 pitches, and Billingsley has now made 101. Maldonado hit into a force play, fly to right. Bunch foul. 0-2. That big game against the Giants that night, a most memorable moment. Don won that game 3-0 to give him 5 consecutive shutouts, and as you know, he eventually racked up 58 2/3. And then that mark broken by Oral Hershiser in 1988. High fly ball, very playable. Gordon out. Coming in is Herrera. One away. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the sixth, they'll have Hairston, Kennedy, and Van Slyke. Edwin Maisonette singled off Kennedy's glove, grounded to short, hitting just 185 with a home run and 4 runs batted in. In there. By the way, you know, I was thinking back about that call on Dick Dietz. The reason I was so shocked, I had never seen it happen before, nor have I ever seen it happen again, where the plate umpire rules that the hitter did not get a reasonable chance of getting out of the way of the pitch. So Maisonette hit by the pitch. Let's see if they're going to award him first base. I think they are. It ran in and he tried to check. And he's going to go to first base.
Pitcher number 13, Zach Greinke.
Anytime the ball hits the hand, there are so many small bones in the hand. Squeeze. So again, it's a pattern, and it's been established all year so far. I mean, if you're a Brewer, you're saying, what's going on? Hart was hit in the 5th inning on an off-speed pitch. But that was a high fastball that nailed him. So Corey can tell you all about it. But with 2 hit batters, again, we get to that point. The Brewers have been hit 33 times. And Brewer pitchers have only hit 11. So, of course, there's going to be and has to be some grumbling amongst the Milwaukee hitters. Hey, when is our pitcher going to start protecting us? But it hasn't happened. And here now is Greinke, who has struck out twice. Had the reputation, in high school anyway, of being a very good hitter. Ball 1. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Billingsley has now made 107 pitches, so Scott Elbert is up. The bunt is down and foul. By the way, Billingsley has now made 108 pitches. That was the number of pitches he made opening day in San Diego. He's had 2 games of 100, but he's not had 100 pitches in his last 4 starts. He's gone out early. 85, 77, 95, 99. Now here he is at 108 with 1 out. Maisonette with Greinke at the plate, and a 1-1 count. The leadoff man Aoki waiting on deck. And the bunt is foul. 1-2. Four runs, 6 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 7 hits for the Dodgers. The big blow, the 2-run home run by Ramirez. Curveball bunted foul, and he struck out. So down goes Greinke, striking out a 3rd time. That would give Billingsley 8 strikeouts. A reminder, Dodgers and Angels, June 11th through the 13th. And Tuesday, June 12th, Mike Scioscia bobblehead night. Fans with the first 50,000 ballot tickets can take home their very own mini Scioscia blocking the plate. Compliments of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So 2 out, and here's Aoki. 0 for 3 today. Last night he sacrificed twice. Wound up going 2 for 4. Two out, 6th inning, 4-1 Brewers. Full swing foul out of play, 1-1. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 6th, Hairston, Kennedy, and Van Slyke. Billingsley is due to bat 5th. So Elbert is throwing back on him. On deck, another left-hand hitter, Niger Morgan. Niger, 2 strikeouts, 1 single. One ball, 1 strike. Maisonette has not been a fella piling up a lot of stolen bases. That's foul. 1 and 2 the count. Back for Maisonette, you'd have to go back to 6 years ago. He stole 21 bases. So Maisonette listening to Garth Ords, the first base coach. Even where he's had 100 games, only had 2 stolen bases. 1 and 2. And line down the line, foul. Aoki grounded to third, hit into a force play, fouled out, and Maisonette back to first. Ron Renicky, Jerry Narron, Rick Kranitz, his pitching coach. 1 and 2. Off speed, foul back. That was 78 miles an hour. So he's gone from the middle 90s to 78. His pitch count, it's jumped up now to 115. Another note that we keep once in a while, again, we talked about it earlier, swings and misses and foul balls. 11 swings and misses, 33 foul balls. Short hop by Kennedy, that'll be that. At the end of 5.5 tough innings, Billingsley walks off losing 4-1. Of the Dodgers going over to pat him on the back. 116 pitches, giving up 2 runs in the second and 2 more on a Ramirez 2-run home run. and he knocked in the only Dodger run as well. So Greinke now working on Hairston, Kennedy, and Van Slyke. A bunt left in the mid of Maldonado. 0-1. Jerry single to center, double to left. He was with the Brewers for a little while last year and made some vital contributions. While he was with the Brewers last year, he hit .274, little ground foul. Jerry had 1 home run, 7 RBIs. Of course, home runs are not Hairston's game. Most he has ever hit. 2 years ago with San Diego, he hit 10. It's the only time he ever homered in double figures anywhere, majors or minors, and that goes back to 1997. Ball 1. Hairston turned 36 the other day on the 29th. Not exactly the way he celebrated his birthday. He not only went 0 for 4, he grounded into a double play to finish the game against the Brewers. That was that tough 2-1 game. Hit down the line, foul, out of play. 2-2 the count. Hairston batting .384 with a home run, 7 RBIs, and 2 for 2 tonight. Single to center, doubled inside the left field line, and down in the corner. High fly ball, slicing foul. It's going to go back in the stands. 2-2. Again, we repeat a note we gave you at the start of the game. The Brewers have never had a 4-game sweep in a series against the Dodgers. Cardinals swept them 4 in St. Louis back in 2010. And the Rockies swept the Dodgers 4 here in 1993. Three and 2. Fastball hit to right center. It's hanging and caught. Corey Hart. The ball just seemed to hang out there. And we had the thought, watching Hart, he might be able to catch up to it, and he sure did with those daddy long legs at 6'6".
Third baseman number
There's the
3.
ball, and
Adam
here
Kennedy.
comes Corey. So Hart's played a couple of games in right field and a couple of games at first base. Good play. So Hairston loses a base hit on a fine play by Corey Hart. And now Adam Kennedy hit into a force play, grounded out, 0 for 2. Shows bunt, at least lets the bat slip through his hands. Ramirez on the move as soon as he saw that. Adam hitting .205. Most home runs Adam has ever hit. He hit 13 for the Angels a long time ago, 2003. 0-2. Kennedy, when he was a regular, playing day in and day out, never struck out 100 times. Had some pretty good years for the Angels. 1-2. He started with the Cardinals, went to the Angels, then back to the Cardinals, then the A's, the Nationals, the Mariners, and here. The pride of Riverside, Adam Kennedy. 2-2. Adam 6'1", 195, 36, same as Hairston. 2-2. Adam has somewhat of an unorthodox approach to the game in the sense he tries to uppercut any ball. I'm sure they tried to teach him to hit down on the ball, but he's had a great career doing what he knows is best for him. Still 2-2. With that uppercut swing, the most hits he has ever had in a season, 159. 2-2. And promptly lined into right field. So over to pick it up is Hart. So that diving catch by Hart on the ball hit by Hairston's important as Kennedy follows with a single to right. And Van Slyke coming up. Well, the Dodgers are pecking away. That's about it. But the heart of the lineup is an offer. Abreu 0 for 3, Ethier 0 for 3, and then down at the bottom, Gordon 0 for 3. So what it adds up to, the Dodgers scurrying around a lot, but scoring only 1 run. So here's Van Slyke, single to right, grounded to third, and ball 1. Meanwhile, Greinke's in the 6th inning, and he's made 106 pitches. Want to know? Fouled away. I'm looking at Greinke's pitch chart. The end of April against Houston, he made 115 pitches. Under that, against Minnesota, 111. And he's now made 107. 1-1. Adams slipped on the bag. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball popped up. Ricky Weeks is calling. 2 down. And D. Gordon will be the batter. So Van Slyke 1 for 3. Gordon has struck out and grounded out. And there'll be a hitter coming out on deck for Chad Billingsley. Ivan De Jesus. Gordon hitting .223, 1 home run, 10 runs batted in. Ball 1. So 109 pitches now for Zach Greinke. Fastball at the knees for a strike. 1-1. Those who watched him, especially in the early days in Kansas City, said he really pitched to contact, that he seemed to toy with hitters sometimes. So far tonight, he has struck out 6. Fouled away, so he has Gordon 1 and 2. They asked Greinke, what would be your ideal inning? Now, most pitchers would say strike out the side. Not Greinke. He said, I'd like to have a 3-pitch inning. That's foul. Yeah, I guess a lot of pitchers would like a 3-pitch inning, huh? But it also shows how he thinks. Pretty cool. 1-2 the count to D. Gordon. 2 out. Kennedy at first. Nice play in the inning. A diving catch by Corey Hart on the ball hit by Hairston. 1-2. Ground ball to the hole. Smothered by Weeks, but he's not going to get Gordon. No way. So D. Gordon gets a base hit despite the efforts of Ricky Weeks. Nice stop and slide, but no chance. So a great effort. Infield single for Gordon to go 1 for 3. And now Ivan De Jesus will be coming up. Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, going out to advise Greinke how they want De Jesus pitched. In the series, De Jesus appeared as a pinch hitter and single to left field last night. They have Jose Veras, a right-hander in the bullpen. Ivan De Jesus started the Evaldi game and had 1 hit. He went 1 for 3. And before that, he appeared as a pinch hitter in the Aaron Harang game, and he walked. So they haven't gotten De Jesus yet. Batting .333, and he comes up with first and second, 2 out, and that play by Corey Hart just gets bigger and bigger. Ball 1. So Corey Hart making that diving catch. That falls, and Kennedy and Gordon have got themselves hits, and the Dodgers have really got something going. That's a strike. 1-1. Meanwhile, Billingsley down 4-1, gave it his best shot. 116 pitches. Ball 2, 2-1. Greinke came in here 62 strikeouts, 15 walks. He now has 68 strikeouts and 16 walks. 2-1. 93 miles an hour. When you realize what a hitter has to do in the big leagues, it's remarkable. The pitcher, when he releases the ball, is probably 56 feet, something like that, away from the rubber. Let's say he's throwing 90 some odd miles an hour. You have to figure out what pitch it is and whether you think it's going to be a strike or not, all in the millimeter of a second. The best they can do is tell you if it's a fastball, they see the stitches. If they see the skin, it's a breaking ball. 2-2. Go deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Down he goes. He does throw a spike curve, which is almost like a knuckleball, but that had a lot of junk on it. And no runs, 2 hits, 2 left, and it's 4-1 Brewers. 1 lead. For the Dodgers, a tough road to hoe. They will leave tonight after the game, lose a couple of hours and arrive in the wee small hours in Colorado and play on the weekend. Then they'll go from Denver to Philadelphia for a 4-game series. The final game in Philadelphia, that is a 4:05 game as far as television is concerned back here, but it's a 7:05 game in Philly. And then they have that long flight from Philadelphia to Seattle. And finally, after Sunday's game with the Mariners, they'll get sweet home stuff with the Angels and the White Sox. Ivan de Jesus will stay in the game, play third, bat ninth. Scott Elbert goes in Adam Kennedy's spot, and we have the pinch hitter Carlos Gomez coming up, right-hand hitting center fielder, checking in. 0-1 to Gomez. Gomez started last night's game, and he had a big night. He had 4 hits, so he has his average up to 284. 0-1. Last night, the only game he has started in the Aaron Harang, Sean Markham game, Gomez appeared as a pinch hitter, grounded to short. So Scott Elbert picking up the pieces for Billingsley, who made 116 pitches. Meanwhile, Greinke has made 118 pitches. As Zach sits quietly in the dugout, having already made a ton of pitches, and you wonder just how much longer he will go. Again, he made 115 in April. Ryan Braun alongside Ron Renicky and talking to him. Foul tip and held by AJ. And we have one away. Corey Hart made a fine catch on the ball hit by Hairston, and then as the inning progressed, the catch became bigger and bigger and more important. Here's the catch, and it was followed by a single by Kennedy, a single by Gordon that might have produced a run by then, but Corey's fine catch shut the Dodgers out in the 6th. Fouled off his foot. 0-1. So Gomez batting for Morgan, and no doubt Carlos will stay in the game and play center field. Corey Hart grounded out, struck out, hit by an off-speed pitch. Not that that's much better than anything else, but didn't hurt as much as maybe a fastball. Another foul. One of the Dodger problem, they're getting men on base in every inning. But with runners in scoring position, the Dodgers are 1 for 7 with 4 strikeouts against Greinke. 0-2. A little low. By the way, in talking about the Dodgers heading to Colorado, and we were talking about Carlos and Cargo's last 5 games. He has 6 home runs, 10 runs batted in, hitting .591. And that will do it for Corey Hart. It's the second time that he has struck out. And the battle will be Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez walked and scored a run, hit a 2-run home run, and singled. Though he has scored twice, he has knocked in 2, and the Brewers lead 4-1. 5 home runs this year, 320 home runs in his career. 0-1. Little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Scott Elbert has had scoreless relief in, well, if you go back to last year, 41 of his last 48 appearances. 1-2. Right-hand hitters, as he took the mound, hitting 170, and he struck out hard, so they're hitting less than that. And in brief bit of work, he has 12 strikeouts. Fouled away. Ramirez with Taylor Green hitting back of him. When the Dodgers come up in the 7th inning, Herrera, Ellis, and Abreu. Two and two. So Elbert comes in, restores order, 1, 2, 3, and we're heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. Brewers 4, Dodgers 1. Carlos Gomez, who struck out as a pinch hitter for Morgan, stays in the game in center field. And it'll be Jose Veras picking up, doing the pitching chores for Zach Greinke, who made 118 pitches. Jose Veras from the Dominican Republic, originally signed by the Devil Rays, but first came to the big leagues with the Yankees. He was with the Yankees for a couple of years, up and down, then went to the Marlins and the Pirates, and here he is. For the Dodgers, Elian Herrera shows bunt, ball 1-0. Herrera's hitting .300, single and stole a base, walked and flied to left. One ball, no strikes. That's a strike. Veras is certainly tall enough. He is 6'5", 235 pounds. He'll be 32 in October. One and one. Breaking ball in there. 1-2. Jose Veras, in looking at his numbers this year, he is 3-2, high ERA of almost 5 in the dirt. 24 innings. He's allowed more hits than innings pitched. That's always shaky. And the opposition is hitting .273 against him. So he's got to be struggling a little bit. His strikeout to walk ratio is 2-1. Two and two. And ball 3. Fastball just missed. So Herrera walks. Dodgers keep getting at least one man on base in every inning. Be sure to be with us on Monday, June 11th. Jaime Jarrín Dodger T-shirt and tribute night presented by Univision Radio. Fans with the first 30,000 ballot tickets will receive a Jaime Jarrín T-shirt highlighting his famous home run call. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. Great guy, great honor. Hope you'll be out here to join us honoring him. Well, here's Ellis. Ball 1. AJ struck out twice against Zach Greinke, and then in the 5th inning, a line drive single to center. But then Abreu followed and hit into a double play. AJ checking with Tim Wallach. It's a long distance call. And Herrera at first. 4-1 Brewers. Bottom of the 7th. Veras 1 year was a closer, but that was at Columbus when he saved 21 games. Fastball, a hopper into left field, base hit. Well, the Dodgers speed gun said that fastball was 101 miles an hour. Wow. Didn't make any difference to Ellis. So all of a sudden the Dodgers again getting people on base. Abreu was struck out, grounded out, hit into a double play. Bobby hitting .323, 7 runs batted in. Right-hander low begins to loosen up for Milwaukee. Abreu representing the tying run at the plate. That's a strike. Dodgers have had a bunch of people on. They've just been unable to cash him in. We mentioned 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. So Veras on a walk and a base hit in trouble. Oh, and 1. Off-speed breaking ball low. 1-1 the count. So Zach Greinke pitched 6 innings, but he really labored. 118 pitches. People on base every inning, but he only gave up 1 run. Now Veras has given up a walk and a single. 1-1 pitch to Bobby Abreu. Breaking ball hit up the middle, right at the bag, on it for 1, and over to first for a double play is Edwin Masonette. For the Dodgers, they have now hit into 2 double plays tonight, 6 double plays counting last night. 6. Perfect for Masonette to step on the bag and easily double Abreu. So 2 down. Herrera is at third, and here's Ethier. Popped up, struck out twice. Boy, a half a dozen double plays in 2 games. Rather remarkable. Ball 1. The night before last, the last 2 outs, the result of a double play. So that's 7 double plays in the last 3 games. Foul ball, 1-1. Mercifully for the Dodgers, in the Markham Harang game, they did not hit into a double play. But for Bobby Abreu, last night he hit into 1, and he hits into 1, in fact into 2 tonight. Edwin Masonette had that one made for order. Runner at third, 2 out, 1-1 to Ethier. Breaking ball in there, late break. You can understand Ethier taking that. It looked like it was outside. And then at the last minute, it just bent and got the corner. For Veras, with a runner at third, he has 1 wild pitch. Herrera down the line. 1-2 to Andre. Breaking ball lifted back to third down the line. Masonette angling over, and the shortstop makes the play, and the Dodgers leave yet another man in scoring position. So they are thoroughly frustrated. They are 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and it's 4-1 Brewers. When the Dodgers arrive in Colorado, Chris Capuano with a record of 7-1 against Josh Outman, who is 0-1 with that ballooning ERA over 9. For Capuano, he'll have to concentrate on one particular hitter, and that's Carlos Gonzalez, among others. So Chris, who pitched for 4 years for Milwaukee's, though he's very personable anyway, and I'm sure he has a lot of friends over there. And we go to the 8th. Elbert a strike to Taylor Green. Green doubled to right and scored a run. Struck out and walked. 0-1. And hits a slicing fly ball, but Herrera should handle it. And does. Say, you're hitting the road. You can take the Dodgers with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. See every Dodger out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. 1 out in the 8th inning. A.J. Ellis out to talk to Scotty Elbert. Elbert kind of grinning behind that glove. Meanwhile, Todd Coffey is in the pen, and here comes Rick Honeycutt. And Honeycutt is not going to talk to the plate umpire, and we'll have a change. We might even have a double switch. Remember, Don Mattingly hurt his leg yesterday, the right calf. So Mattingly not only goes out to counsel, he also goes out to console. So Alex Castellanos will take over in left field, and Todd Coffey comes racing in from the bullpen, and we'll be back. .26 years old in August and making his major league debut, called up when they had to put Matt Kemp on the DL. He enters the game with Todd Coffey, so if you're keeping score, Coffey would go in Bobby Abreu's spot. Castellanos would go in the spot originally occupied by Adam Kennedy. So when the Dodgers come up in the 8th inning, they'll have Hairston, Castellanos, and then Van Slyke. So Todd Coffey, the third Dodger pitcher. Elbert pitched an inning and a third, and all he did was strike out the side in the 7th inning and retire all 4 men that he faced. Ricky Weeks is waiting on deck. Elbert, by the way, made a total of 16 pitches. So we have 1 out, 8th inning. The Brewers leading 4-1. And Ricky Weeks 1 for 3 coming up. Todd Coffey, in looking at his numbers, He's 1-0, working on lowering an ERA, which is over 6. And he is another reliever who's allowed more hits than innings pitched. He has walked 7. He has struck out 7. And we shall see now as Ricky Weeks checks into testing. Ricky hitting 159, 5 home runs, 12 runs batted in. Fastball hit in the air, foul off first. Coming over is Van Slyke, but it's well back in the crowd. The Brewers scored 2 in the second inning on a walk, a double, and a single and a force play. Dodgers got 1 back in the second on 3 singles. And then Ramirez came up in the third with Morgan aboard and hit his 5th home run of the year, the 320th of his career. And that gave the Brewers a 4-1 lead in the third inning. And it's been that way all the way to now. We're in the 8th. 0-1. Fastball hit to the left of Gordon. He makes a nice play. So Weeks taps out. 2 down. For the Brewers, you look back in the box score, they've had 1 hit since Ramirez home run, and that was Ramirez single. The Dodgers are the other way around. They have at least 1 hit in every inning. So it's 4 runs, 6 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 10 hits for the Dodgers. Martin Maldonado hit into a force play, got a run home, flied to right, flied to center, 0 for 3. And a strike. 0-1. It'll be interesting to see Alex Castellanos making his big league debut. He'll hit second in the 8th. 0-2. Castellanos came to the Dodgers out of the Cardinal organization for Rafael Furcal. No balls and 2 strikes to Martin Maldonado. So Coffey comes in, gets his 2, down go, and up comes Castellanos batting second, bottom of the 8th, 4-1 Brewers. Giants will be either 5 or 6, depending upon whether the Dodgers win or lose, and that will also affect all the other clubs. for the Giants right now are the biggest concern. Meanwhile, down on the field, another pitcher, the third for Milwaukee, and it's Cameron Lowe, L-O-E. And where Veras was 6'5", Lowe is 6'7", 240 pounds. Cameron is from Simi Valley and lives in Chatsworth. In fact, he went to school at Cal State Northridge and was originally selected by the Rangers. So Cameron Lowe getting ready to pitch to Hairston, Castellanos, and then Van Slyke. The Milwaukee bullpen has to be hard pressed because Frankie Rodriguez and John Axford has really worked both of them. In the last 4 games, Axford has appeared in all of them. In the last 3 games, Frankie Rodriguez has appeared in all of them. So we shall see about the 9th inning. Another high pockets pitcher out there, Cameron Lowe. Boy, is he long-legged. 0-2. Way back, there was a fellow by the name of High Pockets Kelly because of the, what do the ladies say, short-waisted. And you're looking at another High Pockets. Oh, 2. Comebacker. All right, 1 away. Hairston 2 for 4, robbed of a hit by Corey Hart. And now the big league debut for a young player, Alex Castellanos.
Alex Castellanos.
Castellanos had been at AAA, and then when Matt Kemp was injured, they called him up. He was acquired last July for Rafael Furcal. He was a 10th round pick by the Cardinals out of Belmont Abbey College. He was born in Miami. At Albuquerque, he was hitting .379, 0-1. It is a longer way from Albuquerque to the big leagues than it is from Albuquerque to Los Angeles. From April into the middle of May, Alex was on the DL. He had a left hamstring strain. Isn't that a familiar strain? Check swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. He's 5'11" and about 180. He'll be 26 August 4th. Fastball, 1-2. For Castellanos, since he was Cardinal property, he was in the minor leagues, Johnson City, Batavia, Quad City, Palm Beach, and Springfield. Then got over with the Dodgers, Chattanooga, and Albuquerque this year. 1-2 to Alex. Boy, he's got a busy bat. And he is hit by the pitch. So in his major league debut, Castellanos hit by a pitch. That's kind of interesting because the Brewers have been nailed twice tonight. That gives him 33, and that is only the 12th opposition batter to be hit, and it's a kid who just arrived here. So Castellanos at first, and here's Van Slyke. Ball 1. So it continues. The Dodgers have gotten at least 1 man on base in every inning. So it's maddening for Mattingly and for Dave Hansen working on the gum on his left. And there goes Castellanos. The pitch missed at the plate, and the throw hits him, and he has himself a major league stolen base. Now they might call catcher interference. Let's see. It looks like Martin Maldonado is holding his hand as if the bat hit him, and if so, they will have to send the runner back. Take another look. The bat comes around, and in the backswing of Van Slyke, when Maldonado cocked his arm to throw, the bat hit the arm. Though we've seen catcher's interference, Van Slyke is saying, I didn't do anything, but we can look at it again. And for Maldonado, the swing actually hit him on the hand. Watch. Here's the swing around. There comes the hand. And apparently it grazed him. And the plate umpire, Tony Randazzo, immediately called it. In fact, Maldonado pointed immediately as if to say it was interference. So Tony Randazzo has been umpiring over 13 years in the big leagues. Born in Chicago, attended Iowa Western Community. He was a baseball player in college until he suffered an arm injury. So Mattingly is talking about the fact there could not be interference, but Tony called it. It's interference, he said. Brian Gorman comes down. Mattingly. Brian Gorman is saying that Van Slyke steps over the plate. He didn't, but he did step in front of the catcher. So the catcher is interfered with. There'll be a putout given to Maldonado. Holding at first is Castellanos. We now have 2 out because of it. A puzzled Scott Van Slyke. And the batter now will be Gordon.
Number 9, D. Gordon.
So Van Slyke is charged with interference of the catcher. Maldonado gets the putout. And here's Gordon. We're in the 8th, 2 out, 4-1 Brewers. Gordon is struck out, grounded out, and single. And hits one to Ricky Weeks. He'll get one. They throw to first. Safe at first. Well, what's the difference? That should get a 3rd out. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a zany inning, isn't it? They're going for a double play when they didn't need it. They forgot that the catcher was interfered with, and there's an error. So we're going to the 9th, 4-1 Brewers. Third inning, 1 out and a man on, and Aramis Ramirez hits one into the pavilion. We figured it was perhaps a breaking ball. Major League Baseball said it was a cutter, and Billingsley might very well confirm that. For Ramirez, his 5th home run, 320 in his career, 9 years with 25 or more. And right now he's got a long way to go to get to 25, but he'll take it. For the Brewers, all smiles, even though they forgot how many outs there were. Made their way for a double play that was not necessary. And we go to the 9th inning, and Todd Coffey will be pitching to Maisonette. Then the pitcher spot, that would be Lowe, and then Aoki. Edwin Maisonette singled off Adam Kennedy's glove, grounded it short, hit by a pitch, and a strike. 0-1. When the Dodgers come up in the 9th, they are due to have DeJesus, Herrera, and Ellis. 0-1. Fastball whacked into right field. So a leadoff single by Maisonette. He's 2 for 3 with 2 singles and hit by a pitch. So Lowe is due up, but he is not going to come up. If you're 6'7", you spot immediately whether you're coming or going, and Brooks Conrad will bat for Lowe. So Cameron Lowe came in, got his out. Brooks Conrad is 5'11", 190. He's from San Diego and lives in Gilbert, Arizona, and went to school at Arizona State. Brooks was a soccer player until he was about 12. Gets a bunt foul. 0-1. Conrad made an appearance in the Evaldi Fires game and struck out. Did not appear in the other games. Brooks, of course, liking baseball, growing up in San Diego, certainly enjoyed watching Tony Gwynn. 0-1 to Brooks. Coffey is the rare pitcher, and I remember when he first came to the big leagues, with a runner at first, he doesn't look over his left shoulder. He looks over his right shoulder, and that makes him distinctive as an individual pitcher. There you go. And the runner goes, and the pitch is bunted foul. So Maisonette back to first. That's really unusual, isn't it? One and two the count. Well, we'll see if they still have the bunt on with Conrad. Sure is confusing if you're the runner at first. Fly ball to left field. Castellanos makes the catch. Maisonette retreats, one away.
Left fielder, Norichika Aoki.
Norichika Aoki coming up. He is 0 for 4 tonight. Has not hit a ball out of the infield. Twice grounded to third, hit into a force play, fouled out, but hitting .305. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. And ball one. Dodgers will finish their road trip seeing Ichiro in Seattle. 1 ball and no strikes with 1 out. And a high bouncer down to second. On the bag is Hairston. The throw to first, not in time. So it's a force play. Aoki in the leadoff role goes 0 for 5. And the batter will be Carlos Gomez. So Maisonette back into the dugout.
Carlos Gomez.
Carlos Gomez pinch hit for Morgan and struck out. Morgan was 1 for 3 at a single and 2 strikeouts. But for Morgan, he was also aboard with the leadoff single when Ramirez hit the one-out home run. Down in the Milwaukee bullpen, Francisco Rodriguez warming up again, along with Tim Dillard. I mean, for Frankie, he's been in 3 straight games. And there's one to left, and that ought to really open it up. Well back into the Dodger bullpen. So for Carlos Gomez, he drives it out, and it is 6-1 Brewers. So Gomez hits his second home run of the young year. He now has 9 runs batted in. So Gomez hits it out. Coffey is roughed up. And it's 6 runs, 8 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 10 hits for the Dodgers. That might very well mean that Tim Dillard would pitch the 9th inning, maybe. Here's Corey Hart, rounded out, struck out, hit by a pitch, struck out again. Gomez getting 5s in the dugout. For Todd Coffey, first home run that he's allowed this year. So it looks like, barring a remarkable 9th inning rally, it will happen for the first time in Milwaukee history to sweep a 4-game series at Dodger Stadium. Again, it happened in St. Louis and here in 1993 with the Rockies. Well, as we guessed, that home run, immediately they had Frankie Rodriguez sit down. Tim Dillard is throwing along, and that's whacked foul. 2-2 the count. Corey Hart grounded out, struck out, hit by a pitch and struck out. But in the 6th inning, Jerry Hairston hit a fly ball into right center. Corey was able to make a diving catch, and the Dodgers followed with a couple of base hits. But the catch prevented any runs from scoring. Strike 3 when you're 6'6". The sky's the limit. And I'm watching the plate umpire, Tony Randazzo. And he's shrugging his shoulders as Corey walks away. 9th inning, 6-1 Brewers. I assume is still arguing with plate umpire Tony Randazzo over the interference called against Van Slyke on the Castellanos attempted stolen base. Van Slyke will step in front of the catcher. In fact, he turned his back and backed into the catcher. Maldonado pointed at Scott, and Tony Randazzo called the end of third. Maldonado got the put out. Van Slyke got the red neck, and Mattingly trouble came out despite the bad leg. So bottom of the ninth, 6-1, and because of the home run, no reason to bring in Frankie Rodriguez. They'll go with Tim Dillard. Tim is from Saltillo, Mississippi, now lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He's the king of the sideburns. Whoa, look at those standards. He's out of Itawamba Community College in Mississippi. His father was a major leaguer, an infielder, Steve Dillard. And there's a line drive, base hit by Ivan De Jesus. So De Jesus came into the game as a pinch hitter, struck out, and now singles. So the Dodgers continue to get a man aboard in every inning. And the paid attendance, many of whom who have head for the hills, 26,773. 26,773. Herrera single and stole a base, walked twice, fly to left. On deck, A.J. Ellis. Little foul ball, 0-1. Dillard's father spent about 8 years in the majors, from 1975 to 1982. His dad said, you know, the quickest way to become a big leaguer is to be a switch hitting catcher. But by the time he got to community college, he was no longer catching. He had hurt his left shoulder as a senior, had to have surgery, couldn't swing the bat. So his coach said to him, well, you want to try the mound? Tim said, I want to play. .6'4", 210. He'll be 29, middle of July. Ground ball up the middle, smothered, and the play no good at second. That'll be an infield single for Herrera. So De Jesus singles, Herrera singles, A.J. Ellis coming up. So near and yet so far for Ricky Weeks, trying desperately to get the ball over, but he couldn't do it. Great effort. So 2 on, nobody out. It's 6-1 in favor of the Brewers, and the Dodgers still breathing with Ellis the hitter, and we'll have a batter for Coffee, and it'll be James Loney. Ellis struck out twice, but then singled twice. Zach Greinke surrendered a base hit to him in the 5th inning, and Veras a single in the 7th. And ball 1. Manny Parra, a left-hander, is warming up in the Milwaukee bullpen. Dodgers have 1 run on 12 hits. And ball 2. And looking at Dillard's numbers, he's 0-1, an ERA of a little more than 4. He's another reliever. 8 walks, 16 strikeouts, so he's 2-1 there. 2-0. That's in there. 2-1. Waiting is Loney. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Brewers, 1 run, 12 hits for the Dodgers. Fastball hit down to short. The shovel for 1. They'll turn it for 2. And for the Dodgers, would you believe it? 3 double plays tonight, 4 double plays last night. They've hit into 7 double plays in the last 2 games. It kind of takes your breath away. So 2 out in the 9th. And the batter will be James Loney hitting for Coffey. 7 DPs in 2 games. They don't need Coffey to be restless all the way to Colorado tonight. Now Ron Renicky has his left-hander Manny Parra down there in the bullpen. Is he going to make the move with 2 out and a runner at third, leading by 5? And the answer is yes. So Dillard gave up 2 hits, but he got the big double play. Here comes Manny Parra, and we'll be back. Manny Parra, the left-hander, to go head-to-head with James Loney. Manny's from Sacramento, lives in Citrus Heights, went to American River Junior College, 6'3", 200, and he's 29. Manny committed to go to UCLA, but then signed with the Brewers. He appeared briefly last night, made 8 pitches, and that was that. So Manny Parra going up against James Loney. Loney batting .245, 0-1. Loney, however, is 5 for 12 with a home run against Manny Parra. And Ivan de Jesus walking down the line from third. So Loney has had a lot of trouble with left-handers, but not Parra. And little foul, so he's in a hole 0-2. James holding his own against right-handers, hitting .272, but hitting .171 against left-handers. But again, here's a pitcher he has hit and pretty well. 0-2. Fouled away. Greinke, Veras, Lowe, Dillard, and Parra. Greinke stands to win his 6th and go 6-2. Billingsley, Elbert, and Coffey. Billingsley have made 116 pitches on the edge of going 2-4. Both teams are going to spend the night flying and arriving at their destinations in the wee small hours. That's ball 1. Milwaukee going home. They'll probably arrive later than the Dodgers. They were talking about arriving at 5:30 in the morning. For the Dodgers, the guess is 3 o'clock. 1-2 to Loney. Parra off the rubber. Manny basically fastball, cutter, curve. He has a splitter as well, and a changeup. Oh, a lot of pitches. Fastball whacked into center. So Loney continues to hit power very well. I mean, you could say in some ways Ron Renicky brought in the one left-handed that Loney can handle. At least the numbers tell you that. So the Dodgers get on the board. The Brewers lead 6-2. And the batter now will be Andre Ethier. So the hit is off Parra. The run is charged to Dillard. Those are sum totals. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Brewers, 2 runs, 13 hits for the Dodgers. But they grounded into 3 double plays tonight. Runner going to second base, ground ball to Maisonette. That's the ball game, and it has finally happened for Milwaukee. The first time ever they have swept a 4-game series at Dodger Stadium. It happened to the Dodgers in St. Louis, and it happened here at Dodger Stadium against Colorado in 1993. First ever. Wow. The Dodgers have played 81 4-game series here since the last 4-game sweep in 1993. So the winner is Greinke, the loser is Billingsley. The Dodger lead over the Giants cut to 5, and now they head to Colorado. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live coming up next. Good night, everybody.